Welcome to the Owatonna Today Show. Today is Wednesday. It is the 7th of August. So glad to have you along. My name is Betty Johnson. We know a lot of you are joining us on Charter Channel 8. We thank you for that. We're there 6 days a week, off and on throughout the day, so you have lots of opportunity to catch the show. Also, Owatonna Today Show is out there on the internet at blip.tv, as well as YouTube and Facebook. And if you like us on Facebook, then you'll receive notification of when each show has been uploaded to the internet. And if you have an idea or a question, comment, or a topic or a person or a guest you'd like to see on the show, please feel free to contact us. You can do that one of two ways, at email at owatonnatoday@charter.net, or you can contact Leanne Alt, our producer, at 390-5751. And we have a good lineup of guests for today's show. We're going to be talking plant ladies, the Master Gardener Lorrie Rugg, weeds, which all of us have to deal with from time to time, and that'll be in the second segment of our show. The first segment, Tanya Paley is back from the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition, and we're going to be talking more about how you can help keep your children and grandchildren drug-free. And that's right after this break, where we're going to check in with some of our great sponsors. So please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Jody Voisin with the staff at Fairview Animal Medical Center, your other family doctor. Fairview Animal Medical Center is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Recreational fires are allowed within the Owatonna city limits. They must be contained within a fire pit or a device designed for such use, and can be 3 feet in diameter and no more than 3 feet high. They must be 25 feet from a building or combustibles. Only untreated or unpainted woods must be used. Fires must be attended by a person at all times that are capable of extinguishing the fire. This has been a safety tip from the Owatonna Fire Department.
Hi, my name is Dave Olson and I'm with R&K Electric, where we provide power to the people. We're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
We are back now with Tanya Paley from the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition. Glad to have you along again, Tanya. And we're going to continue the conversation from when you were here last. You had 2 guests. And maybe you want to remind the viewers of who they were and what they represented?
Yep. Last time we were here, last month, we had 2 people from the recovery community, or from the community that deals with treatment of our adolescents. And one of the things that they did say, Betty, was that marijuana is really the most common substance that they're treating people for a dependence on marijuana. It's easier to get a hold of too, isn't it? It's so much more prevalent. It is easy. You know, the teens say it's easy to get. If they want it, they know where they can go and get it. And you know, so one of the things I thought it would be helpful to talk about today, kind of to add on to what they were saying, is to go back to the work that we do. They're already working with, you know, kids who are in trouble and who are really experiencing problems because they're dependent on marijuana. And I use the word dependent because I know a lot of people think you can't get addicted to marijuana.
That's what I've heard, but
you know, but you can kind of develop more, and that's a whole nother discussion. But you can develop a dependence on it in the sense that you feel like you need it, you want it. You know, it's a big part of your life.
It's supposed to make you feel good or high, and who doesn't like to feel, you know, positive in that respect, even though it's artificial?
Right. So I guess the point that I'm making is this is something we need to be paying attention to, Betty, and actually I thought I would just draw attention today to this movement that's going on, and we kind of hear things here and there about you know, Colorado and Oregon and
is it Washington too?
Washington State, and how those states have actually gone beyond. We want to have medical marijuana be legal too. We just want to legalize marijuana. And I was just at a conference. I try and keep up with what's going on across the country and get some good ideas for our community. And they were talking about this movement towards legalization of marijuana, and some of the things that you might want to share with your community as we start to make that decision. And that I think we're heading into a new legislative session in our state legislature. We don't really know. There are some bills with some sponsors on it already that could come up for a vote. So, I think it's worth talking about.
Oh, definitely. Especially, my biggest question would be, as a parent, when you're living in a state where it's legalized, how do you justify the kids? Well, if it's legal, what's wrong with it? Even though you can give them all the medical plaques, well,
Right.
It wouldn't be that bad, or they wouldn't legalize it.
Right, and I think they're already saying that, Betty. It doesn't have to be legal in Minnesota
Right.
for them to
Yes.
come back and
Or they can
and
point
say
out,
that
well,
to
this
their
state says it's
parents.
okay, yeah.
And as we were saying during the break, I think it's funny that weeds are coming up in the
Name
second
weeds,
half.
yeah, this whole show's about weeds.
And we're talking about weeds.
Weeds.
And actually, I say that, but one of the things that they say is marijuana is a natural thing. It's a plant, so what's wrong with that? But there are many plants that we don't want to eat or ingest. That's one thing. And then the second thing is, in terms of the medical, I think we are recognizing that there are some medical benefits to lots of different plants, including marijuana. And so, for me as a parent and as a community leader on this, it's never about, I don't want someone who's dying of cancer to have,
A lot of pain.
right,
Suffer.
to suffer. Nobody wants that.
No.
But, in the same way that we don't chew willow bark to get aspirin,
Exactly.
we don't need to be smoking marijuana to get those medical benefits. There are actually already some medications that take some of the medical benefits of marijuana, and I think we need to do more research and get more of that out.
Exactly.
Well, so it's really not, I think that whole let's legalize medical marijuana sometimes is a backdoor way to just say, let's get marijuana legal. And I thought, one of the things that they were talking about in terms of legalizing marijuana that I think we don't think about is when we legalize a substance, we then allow there to be commercial advertising for
Yes.
that.
Oh, my goodness.
We allow there to be a big industry that comes up around that substance. So think about tobacco and the ways in which tobacco has marketed through the years to youth and to trying to get new users. And actually, one of the things they were saying at this conference, Betty, is the tobacco companies are literally ready to roll on this. They already have the fields, they have the rolling machines, they have the distribution.
Tobacco production is down because my daughter's from North Carolina and she says she doesn't see any tobacco fields there anymore. That
Right.
used to be their number
a
one
substitute
product.
crop for
So now they have to find another way. Yeah. So,
So, I think we need to think about, it's not about, hey, it's legal to grow a plant in your yard or, for your own personal use. It's about creating a whole new industry, a whole new big marijuana industry with this kind of, and I think that's something we need to at least be thinking proactively about. I mean,
and as you're against you also, I think, is Hollywood. I mean, I've never seen the show on HBO called Weeds. I don't know if they're trying to, it's a comedy show.
Right.
Say it's okay, or in a comedic way say it's not okay of what happens.
Right.
But it's a popular show. It wins Emmys, and I'm just,
Sure.
saying, you're not helping matters regardless.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So,
And then even the meth show, it's on AMC, I think it is. That's really popular too. If you want to see him get in trouble and all the negative things, fine. But I don't think that's how it's being portrayed.
So one of the things that we as a coalition have said, and we've only been able to touch kind of briefly on this whole legalization thing, but we need, as adults and as youth, we need to educate ourselves a little bit more on what do you say to your kids when they say it's natural.
They'll have a comeback for everything.
What's wrong with kids using marijuana? And the other thing that I hear, Betty, is, well, let's collect the taxes because we could use that money, and if we legalize it, then we can tax it. You've probably heard that one, right? And one of the things that I heard again at this conference was they've done studies in the states where it's starting to, even with medical marijuana, and they have shown now that for every $1 that we collect in taxes, it's $10 in social costs in terms of medical care. We know actually that the roads are less safe when we have a lot of people smoking marijuana.
Law enforcement?
Law enforcement in terms of now they might need to steal to get money for that additional dependence that they have. So it's not quite as simple as let's just, we'll just collect the taxes.
So how do parents keep up with everything to know so they can have a, an intelligent conversation with their kids?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. We're actually going to be, we're available to the community all the time, but a great time might be to stop by when you're at the fair. We have a booth at the fair with the county attorney's office, and we're going to have lots of materials that, little booklets you can pick up if you want to take that home and read it, or you can chat with us. We're going to be talking taking some surveys as well about what folks think in the community. We're going to have one of those little spinner wheels that the kids really like, and some great prizes for them. So bring your questions to the fair, and if your questions aren't able to be answered there, we do have, I know my contact information will be coming up here on the screen. Always feel free to contact me. We've got some good resources on our website. We've got some good resources on our Facebook page. And you do have to keep up because the kids are out there talking about it. So,
and the thing is, you can't wait until you think there might be a problem.
Sure.
I mean, kids are approaching elementary school.
Right.
And that's the scary
Hopefully
thing.
that's uncommon, but
Hopefully,
we do need
yes.
to start talking to them as, 4th, 5th, 6th graders about these things.
So they're armed and ready.
And that's sad. I know that's hard sometimes for parents, and my kids were kind of on the innocent side, and sometimes I felt like I was bringing it up maybe too early, but as long as you're having an open conversation about it and kind of letting them guide the conversation, I don't think you're going to give them information that they, I think it's better for them to hear it from their parents.
Well, you're arming them with how to say no better.
Right, and why to say no.
And because now, are there programs in place in school?
We've been working with primarily alcohol, Betty, because that's even more common than marijuana.
It's even easier.
I'm sure the schools are talking to them about marijuana as well, but we'll be working actually on a new program that's kind of sports focused and looking at the
what a good
your
idea.
performance in sports and what happens when you smoke marijuana. So that will be something will be coming up this year.
Well, good. I'm glad that you do come back on a regular basis so we can keep up with that, and everybody can, know what is going on too, and kind of keep up with everything. And we want to do, whether you're a parent or a grandparent.
Sure, and even if you're not a parent or a grandparent, you just care about the kids.
Well, yes, be a good
everybody
neighbor.
knows kids. So
That's it. So thank you for being with us here again, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Tanya Paley from the Safe
Betty.
and Drug-Free Coalition. When we come back, we are going to be talking weeds with Master Gardener Lorrie Rugg, so you'll want to stay tuned for that.
Hi, this is Dave Efforts with TPS Insurance, and we are proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
I didn't just want another job, I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
I was new to town and I didn't know where to turn for a job, so I decided to express myself.
I decided to express myself, and they helped find the right career for me.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Coda Living Community and Park Place Senior Living are Owatonna's premier living communities for seniors. Coda Living Community, located on the Owatonna Hospital and Mayo Clinic campus, provides short-term, long-term, and rehabilitative care. It features private and semi-private rooms, ceiling lifts, and spa. Coda Living Community continues the tradition of providing quality care to area residents. Park Place Senior Living is expanding into the Cedarview Care Center to offer enhanced assisted living. For more information, please call 507-446-4946.
Hi, I'm Doug Johnson with the Owatonna Business Incubator. We're here to help small businesses start and to grow. We're a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, I'm Ron Clancher with Clancher & Son Landscaping and Concrete. We support the Owatonna Today Show, and so should you.
We are on location now at the home of Master Gardener Lorrie Rugg. Hello, Lorrie.
Hi, Betty.
And we've been here before. You have a beautiful garden with beautiful plants and flowers, and we've tried to educate our viewers on the do's and don'ts of plants. But now, as everyone knows, when it gets this time of year, besides flowers, we have those dreaded weeds.
Yes, we do.
They just drive you crazy.
Yep, there's been a lot of talk on our Master Gardener listserv this spring about everybody that has just an onslaught of different varieties of weeds. There's pictures every day. What's this? What's that? We're trying to help each other learn what they are, if they are weeds or if they're flowers. But it's due in large part to the drought we had last fall going into the winter. And then we had an awful lot of rain in the spring. So weed seeds can lay dormant in the ground for quite a few years before they germinate. But we had the right combination this spring of a lot of water. So they all thought, wow, I can grow.
Yes.
So yes, we've had a lot of people have weeds this year.
Now, what are some of the more prevalent weeds here, and how do we get rid of them safely?
Well, these are mostly from my yard. I hate to say that, but you know, even though I think I have pretty good grass,
gardeners have problems with weeds too. That's
and I'm always going out picking weeds and pulling weeds. So let's start with probably the most common. There's thistles. And those, I just pulled it out, and you can eventually pull those out.
Now, do they come with the root easily? Because
Yes.
sometimes you yank and you don't get that
It
root.
depends on how moist the ground is, if we've had rain or not. When it's rained, that's the best time to pull weeds. Yeah, right after it's rained. This was growing up in my garden thanks in large part to a bird, I think. This is nightshade. It does have a little bloom on it, but the thing about nightshade, you want to remember, it's very toxic.
Just going to say, I've heard you know, a lot of farmers when I was growing up about
want to get the nightshade out of there, exactly. Then, of course, the common dandelion. Everybody's got those. Mine aren't blooming right now, thank God. This is a nutsedge grass. You see this kind of popping up here and there and everywhere. It pulls out very easily. It does have a pretty shallow root system, so it pulls out pretty easy. When I see these, I just go around and pull them out because they kind of spread if you don't. The other one is a very dreaded purslane, and a lot of people think...
I've seen those a lot.
Well, a lot of people, if you go to a garden center, you'll think they're a variety of moss rose, but they're not. This is actually, there's different varieties of purslane. This is the bad kind. And the thing you have to remember about purslane, it grows very low to the ground, and you pull it out maybe, and you just let it lay there, you think, and it's going to dry up.
It doesn't.
Don't. You have to, when you pull it out, get it away from your garden, throw it in the compost heap, throw it away, because it will easily re-root, even though you think it's going to be dead.
It can choke things very easily. I can see it by how it's binding-like, isn't it?
Yep, and it's very aggressive.
Oh.
Very, very aggressive.
And what were they called again?
Purslane.
Oh, okay. And how do we identify them from the flower that you said was similar?
These are a little bit flatter. They're not, the flower that you see at the garden centers are a little puffier in the foliage. They feel more like they have a lot of water in their leaves. These are a little flatter, and they grow real flat and just kind of spread like that when they grow. So this is a bad one. If you have this one, I have some in my vegetable garden, and I fight with it every year. I think, oh, this year I finally got it out, and then it comes back.
What about weed killers?
You can do that, and I think my husband just said to me last night, well, I think we better go find some Weed Be Gone. So I like to use Weed Be Gone because it kills a wide range of broadleaf weeds, which the majority of these are. Some might be annual, some might be perennial, but still that will kill them. And you want to do that when it's cooler, not when it's 90 degrees, when it's a cooler day out. And you want to do it not on a windy day because you don't want it to drift because of my flowers. I'm really worried about that. And you want to make sure that the weed is actually quite large in size because they take the weed killer through their foliage and go down into the roots. They kill it from the top down rather than from the bottom up. So you want to make sure that you get a lot of that chemical on the top of the foliage plant.
Okay, and is that, like the Weed Be Gone you mentioned, is that environmentally safe?
Fairly
comparatively speaking.
Yeah, relatively so. Still,
birds.
That I guess I honestly don't know. I just know that it really does the trick, and I kind of real spot weed. I don't go over my whole yard. If I see that I have a particularly bad area, I do. I quit feeding birds because of the deer, unfortunately, in my yard. So whatever I have kind of come here out of just because they like my yard. So.
Well, you have a lot of good munchies here for deer.
Yes, I do. This is a common one. The other one you see probably a lot of is spotted spurge, it's called. It's very low growing. It has kind of a milky white sap to it if you know, when you pull it out. And it kind of leaves this little milky sapness on your fingers when you're pulling it out. But it pulls out pretty easily.
And where are we going to find this? More around plants or more in the yard?
More in the yard. We've got a big patch of it down in the corner of the yard. I noticed the other day when I came home. Like in the cracks of my driveway, I have it. You'll see it, and once it starts, it's pretty invasive too. So don't let it go because it'll really take over. This is another one that's real invasive. And of course, this is quackgrass. Everybody knows what that looks like. Everybody's got that.
Everybody's got a problem with it.
Yes. And this is, I always call it oxalis, and that's what you'll see on the back of the broadleaf weed killer is oxalis. And this is kind of low to the ground here again too.
Well, that doesn't look like a weed. I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of something. I can't
looks
think
like
of
bird's foot trefoil.
Okay.
But that's not what it is.
Okay, and that again is on the ground, basically. Okay.
Then these are called wood sorrels. This is called yellow red wood sorrel.
And that's kind of pretty.
I know, it is pretty, but it is a weed. And here's its counterpart that is green, and it does have a little yellow flower. So you think, oh wow, this is a cool one, but there again, it isn't. It's another pretty invasive one.
And it looks a lot like cloverleaf.
Yes, it does.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's only got three lobes, so instead of 4. Then, of course, the regular old white clover with its little blossoms. I have a little patch of that growing over by my rock wall that we just can't seem to get rid of. It just likes to keep coming back perennially year after year. This one I just picked. I didn't know quite what this was, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But it is in the mallow family, and this will get quite large and get pretty aggressive and tall, and it's pretty hardy.
And those, if you let them get tall, probably aren't going to get the root.
Yeah, they're just not a nice one. You need to get those out of there. And this one I picked too, and I tried to find this. I don't think it's Creeping Charlie, but it does have a little purple flower on it. I'm not quite sure what it is, but this I found creeping kind of into my yard from my neighbors. So I want to make sure that I get rid of this one pretty quickly too. This is also wild carrot. I looked
wild carrot.
Yep, and I pulled this out.
Okay.
Then
Is that what they refer to as Queen Anne's
nope,
no,
Leanne's
that
is different.
That one I do recognize.
Yep,
that
and
one.
Leanne brought this nice little batch of ragweed here with us today too.
And that's always
so
going to
have that.
And that flowers, as we know, kind of.
Yep,
Yes.
and this was another one. I'm not quite sure what this one is, but as I was walking around looking to pick weeds, there's a app for my iPad that I downloaded that's called ID Weed.
ID Weed.
And it's a free app that I downloaded. Master Gardener suggested if you're having trouble identifying weeds to do that. It's from the University of Missouri Extension Service, but it walks you through the process of you enter what kind of a plant it is, what leaf structure it has, are the leaves alternate, are they whorled, are they across from each other, does it flower? There's all kinds of questions that you ask all the way down through the app.
What a good idea, because you know, a lot of us do not have access to a master gardener,
right?
To ask them, you know, what it is, and if you have something that you're not familiar with, ID Weed, that should be simple enough to remember.
Yep.
And that. Now, also, we want to talk about, we have the Steele County Fair coming up.
Yes, we do.
And the master gardeners are going to be. What are you going to be? What's your involvement with the fair?
We're in the flower building. We help out with master gardeners man the booth periodically throughout the fair to answer questions if people have samples they want to bring in that they're helping ID, or if they have problems with whatever, bring them in and we'll certainly get you an answer. If we can't answer it on the spot, we'll get an answer to you, back to you.
Now you're going to be there just certain hours? Or
mainly in the evenings. Yeah, sometimes it's mainly in the evenings. Wednesday and Wednesday night they'll have the building closed for judging, so that's a time to avoid the flower building, but otherwise we should be there periodically throughout the fair.
So if you're coming over for bringing your grandchildren or your kids, you have some questions, that is a good, put them in a plastic bag or paper bag and come on over. Now, I imagine, do people bring things that stump you sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely.
But now you're going to have your...
But we have access to all the University of Minnesota's information behind us, so we always come up with an answer. If we can't answer it on the spot, we take your name and telephone number.
As well,
absolutely.
Great
Gardening
idea.
is an ongoing learning process.
Well, Lorrie, thank you very much.
for being with us today, because we all are having some problems with the weeds this year.
Exactly.
And we hope you have a good luck at the fair, and we'll be talking to you another time when something important with gardening.
Thanks.
For Leanne Alt, I'm Betty Johnson, and we've been on location here with the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, Warren Abraham, Abraham Consulting Technologies, your one-stop technology shop. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress.
Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do. Owatonna Public Utilities.
Hello, I'm Sean McNulty. And I'm Deb Gillard with Brookdale Senior Living, Sterling House, and Clarebridge of Owatonna. And we are a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
We are back. Thank you for staying with us. We do have some announcements to pass along. But first, the Owatonna Today Show would like to welcome back the Steele County Free Fair as a supporter of the show. And we'd like to welcome the Steele County Transitional Housing as a new supporter of the Owatonna Today Show. The Owatonna Area Shrine Club is going to be offering their annual Family Fun Day Golf fundraiser coming up this Saturday, the 10th, from 9 until 7 p.m. at the Havana Hills Golf and Range, which is located at 2213 North 34th Avenue in Owatonna. They've got lots of fun contests and chances to win some really great prizes. A 42-inch plasma TV, for one, as well as a Blu-ray player. Advance tickets can be bought from any Shriner, if you know one, or Kotke Jewelers, along with Costas Candies, or the day of the event at Havana Hills. And, of course, the proceeds go to benefit the Owatonna Shrine Club. And the Steele County Humane Society is going to be taking they'll take any kind of cartridges. It's a sort of a fundraiser. They're working with Office Max to recycle the ink cartridges, and they're both regular and laser printers. Many people and businesses think that the cartridges can't be recycled, but a lot of them can. So just bring them in, and they'll take care of the cartridges for you. And even if they're oddball ones that you think can't be recycled, all you have to do is drop them off at the monthly Pet Adoption Day, which is the third Saturday of every month at Hometown Motors. And if you can't drop them off, you can contact Allie Hilton for more information, and she can also help you out with that. And that, again, is coming up. You can also drop them off at Quick Trip, milk caps and milk bags as well. So lots of ways to help out the Steele County Humane Society. And again, that is coming up Monday, Monday. When is it coming up, the date here? I missed out on the date. Oh, the third Saturday of the month. I mentioned that. So, also, we do want to remind you that there are a couple of artists that are going to be displaying their works at the Owatonna Arts Center through the 25th. They are Jim Colton, portrait of Southeast Asia. He does that in photography. And Patrick Ginter is a painter in the galleries. Again, that's at the Owatonna Arts Center until the 25th of August. We do want to let you know that you'll want to join us for Friday's show when we're going to be talking Steele County Free Fair. The place to be seen in 2013. The entire show is going to be devoted to the fair, which will be just a few days away, so we hope you can join us then. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you have a good Wednesday. For Leanne Alt, I am Betty Johnson, and this has been the Owatonna Today Show.